Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video I am explaining a solution to busy waiting problem. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. To get the notifications of my new videos, please click the bell icon and don't forget to share with your friends. So let me start the explanation of solution to busy waiting problem. So before understanding what is a solution to busy waiting problem, you need to understand what is a critical section problem and what is a semaphore first. So in this video I am giving only little details about the critical section problem and the semaphore. If you want more information, you can refer my video. The link is provided in the description. So what is critical section problem? Critical section problem means when a two processes wants to access the same data at the same time, chances are there one process may read incorrect data, right? So when two processes want to access the same data, one process may read incorrect data, right? So how to avoid that? We can avoid that using a critical section problem, right? So critical section problem tells that the process wants to execute should enter into its critical section. If that process is executing in its critical section, no other process can enter into its critical section. If the new process wants to execute in its critical section, that new process should wait until the old process completes the execution of its critical section, right? So semaphore is one of the solution to critical section problem, right? Semaphore is one of the solution to critical section problem. So if you want to know more about semaphore and the critical section problem, please go to the videos. So what is a semaphore? Semaphore is an integer variable. It is a simple integer variable. So once you initialize the semaphore, you can access the semaphore only through two operations, wait and signal, right guys? So those operations are atomic operations. Atomic operations means you can't stop those operations using any of the interrupts, right? So for example, see here, see the highlighter. So this is the semaphore. It is a simple integer variable. So yes, the variable is yes and it is integer type. This is a simple semaphore variable, type is integer. Suppose if s is 1, you can see here, then if we want to change the value of s to 4, right, we can't do that directly. We can't do that. I can't change the value of s from 1 to 4. I can't do that directly. To do that, to change the value of the semaphore, I am going to use, what is that? Wait and signal. Wait and signal I am going to use. To understood guys? To change the value of the semaphore, I can use wait and signal instructions, right? So wait is also called as P, signal is also called as V. See, this is the definition of the wait and signal. So in simple words, wait is going to decrement the semaphore value, signal is going to increment the semaphore value, right guys? Now what is busy waiting? So busy waiting means here the main disadvantage of the semaphore, busy waiting is nothing but a disadvantage of a semaphore. Now what it is? See, when a process in its critical section, any other process that try to enter its critical section must loop continuously in the entry code. So I will show you that, right? So when a process that is in its critical section, right, it is when one process executing in its critical section, when other process tries to enter the critical section, it can't enter into the critical section. It has to wait until the until that process, the first process, finishes the execution, right? So what happens there? One process has to loop continuously, one process has to trace, one process has to loop continuously, it has to wait, one process has to wait, right? That problem is called as busy waiting. I will explain that, right? See here. So see here, this is the simple code here. This is the code of the semaphore. Here I am using wait and signal operations. So this is the definition of the wait and this is the definition of the signal. You know that wait can decrement the value of the semaphore and the signal can increment the value of the semaphore. Now we will assume that we two processes, right? I am assuming two processes here, P1 and P2 here. So now P1 will start the execution in its critical section first. Now we will see that first. Now what I will do means I will initialize the value s to 1. What I am doing, I am initialize the value of s to 1. So what is the condition here? Wait statement is there, right? Wait statement. So what is the definition of the wait statement here? What is the first instruction here? S lesser than or equal to 0. Now what is the value of s here? S is 1. 1 lesser than or equal to 0. Right? 1 lesser than or equal to 0. No. No. Condition false. Condition false. So it will come out of the loop. It will come to the statement after the loop. What is the statement? S minus minus. So it will decrement the s value from 1 to 0. You can see here. S to 0. Right? P1 is doing this. Remember that. So now you can see here P1 is still in its critical section. P1 is still in the critical section only. Is still executing in its critical section. It is decrementing the value of s. Now at the same time P2 will request to enter into its critical section. P2 will request to enter into its critical section. Now we will see whether P2 will be allowed to enter into its critical section or not. Now what is the value of s? S is 0 because s value is changed from 1 to 0 by P1. Now s value is 0. Now P2 will execute the wait statement. So what is the first condition here? While s lesser than or equal to 0. So what is the value of s here? 0. 0 lesser than or equal to 0. Yes, true. So while loop is true here. That's why P2 can't come out of the loop here. P2 keeps on looping. See, P2 keeps on looping in a while. P2 keeps on looping in a while until P1 increments the s value. See? So P2 should wait until P1 completes its execution. P2 should wait until P1 completes its execution. So this is the disadvantage of semaphore. This is busy waiting. You can see. What is that? When a process in its critical section, any other process that tries to enter critical section must loop continuously in the entry code. See, here P2 is looping continuously here in the while. So this is the busy waiting. So when a process enter into a critical section of a semaphore, it can't. Right? This is busy waiting. Now, how this is a problem? Busy waiting, how it is a problem? See, I will explain that. Getting, guys? See, the continual looping is clearly a problem in a real multi-programming system. Right? In a multi-programming system, this looping is clearly a problem because where a single CPU is shared among many processes, right? When one process looping in the when one process looping continuously, definitely it's going to waste the CPU cycles, right? Because it is looping. The process is just looping. It is not doing nothing. Instead of that, I can use that wasting CPU cycles for other processes. That's why busy waiting wastes the CPU cycles. Getting, guys? So busy waiting should be avoided. Busy waiting should be avoided. And one more important thing, busy waiting is also called as spin lock. Why? Because the process spins while waiting for the lock. See here P2, right? It spins on in the loop. That's why. So it is also called as spin lock. And one more important thing, sometimes this pin lock will have some advantages also. What are those? So see, when you want to shift from one process to another process, you need to use context switch, right? Context switch, definitely this it will take much more time. So what I can do means, I can use this pin lock, and I don't want this pin lock to be held for long durations. I can use this pin locks to be held for shorter times, right? When they held for the shorter times, right, I can use them without any problem. But I can't assure you that the locks will be held for only shorter times. That's why it should be avoided. Getting, guys? Getting? So that's why this busy waiting or a spin lock should be avoided. If it is held for a shorter amount of, not a problem. But how can I assure that? Sometimes it may take more time, right? That's why this busy waiting should be avoided. How to avoid that? See, how to overcome busy waiting? It is very simple. To overcome the busy waiting, we have to modify the definition of wait and signal semaphore operations. So you know that wait and signal is used to change the contents of the semaphore, right? I am to modify that, right? Now we will see what is that modification. So very simple. When a process execute wait operation, when a process execute wait operations and finds that the semaphore value is not positive, right? Here we can see P2 executed that, it checks that the value is not positive, right? So what happens there? It must wait. So what it does means, P2 should block itself. P2 should block itself. Understood, guys? When a process executes the wait operation and finds that, here P2 executed this while statement and finds that, right? What it finds, the value is not positive. See here, because actually it's 0 is there, but remember carefully, in busy waiting semaphore's values can be also negative. So while it reaches negative, when S reaches negative, right, what you should do means, that is meaning is what means, you must wait. However, rather than engage in busy waiting, the process can block itself. Getting, guys? Instead of waiting for indefinite amount of time, instead of waiting, for example, process P2, instead of waiting for P1 to complete its execution, what it can do means, P2 can block itself. Then what is the use? When P2 blocks itself, what is the use? See here, the block operation places a process into waiting queue. Obviously, when P2 is blocked, P2 can be put into the waiting queue, right? Because semaphore is associated with P2 now, right? You know that. And the state of the process is switched to waiting state. Getting, guys? I will brief this. See here, when the process P2 find out that it has to loop P2, instead of looping, it can block itself. Once the P2 block itself, right, I can move the P2, right, to the waiting state. That means P2 can be shifted to waiting queue, right? Then the CPU scheduler can select that process to execute, right? Getting, guys? This is the solution here. Instead of waiting indefinitely, instead of waiting until P1 finishes, P2 can block itself. Once it blocked, it can move from right, it can move to the waiting state, it can move into a waiting queue. Getting, guys? Then CPU scheduler can take that P2 and it can, right, allocate the processor to P2 if it wants. Getting, guys? Now see here, a process that is blocked, right, definitely, see here, here what is the process that is blocked here? In our example, P2. So P2 should be restarted when some other process executes a signal operation. Signal means what? Signal is going to tell that the process completed its execution. Suppose if P1 is executing in its critical section, P1 should signal it that it completed its critical section. When when P1 signal it, P2 can be allocated. See, CPU scheduler can allocate the P2 now. When CPU scheduler can allocate the P2 from the waiting state to running state, when P1 signals that the critical section execution completed. Getting, guys? Getting? Now, how you are going to restart that process that is in the waiting state? You know that the process was blocked. Here P2 was blocked. That blocked process is restarted. When it will be restarted? When the P1 sends the signal. But how a P2 will come to know that P1 is sending a signal? See, right? So OS will take care of that. But here, see here, the process is restarted by a wake up operation. Why we use wake up operation? Wake up operation is used to wake up that process that is waiting in the waiting queue. Here P2 will be waked up using a wake up operation when P1 sends the signal. Right? So that's why P2 state is changed from waiting state to ready state, or ready state, then from ready state to running state. Getting, guys? Very simple. Very simple. How you are going to overcome the busy waiting? See here, very simple. I will brief this. I will consider P1 and P2 here. Consider that P1 is executing in its critical section. Now P2 tries to enter into its critical section, but it is not possible. P2 will indefinitely loop here. So instead of looping until P1 completes its execution, so P2 what it can do means it can block itself. Thereby P2 can be moved to waiting state, that is waiting queue. Right? Once the P1 sends the signal, P2 P2 can be moved from waiting state to ready state. How you are going to move P2 from waiting state to ready state means you can use a wake up operation. When a process P1 sends a P1 sends a signal, P2 can be waked up using a wake up operation, which changes the state of the P2 from waiting state to ready state. Getting, guys? Very simple. Now, how to implement this? Theoretically, I told you have to do like this, but how to implement this? How to write the program? See, very simple program. How to write a program to implement this? To avoid this busy waiting? See, to implement this semaphore, I am going to use a C struct. Struct means it is a structure. Structure in a C program, you know that, right? Structure means it can hold different types data types. Different data types can be grouped in a single data in a structure, right? Different data types can be grouped in a structure, that is int, float, char. These are all different types of data. That different types of data can be grouped in a structure, right? So see what I am doing here. I am using a structure where structure is going to store the value. Structure is going to store the list of the processes. Getting, guys? Very simple. See, each semaphore has an integer value and a list of process. See, the semaphore is implemented as a structure, and the semaphore contains two components. List of processes, you can see the highlighter. It is going to contain the list of processes, all the list of processes that are executing, all the list of processes in the OS, right? Not only that, integer value, because process have that identifier, right? I have to identify the process in the list. That's why semaphore stores the value also. Getting, guys? So it contains the list of the processes and the identifiers to identify the processes in the individual processes in the list. Very simple. This is the code. See, this is the pointer to the list. You know that list contains the processes, and each process is identified by the value. Getting? See, when a process must wait on a semaphore, it is added to the list of processes. Here, which processes you are going to add here? Don't get confused. Only you are going to add the processes that are that should wait. Only you have to add the processes that should wait in the list. Now, when you are going to remove that processes from the list, you know that, right? This list is going to contain only the waiting processes, right? Waiting processes. When you have to remove that waiting processes means when a signal operation removes signal operation from any other processes that is executing in the running state, then you have to remove that process from the list. Getting, guys? So all the processes that are waiting will be there in this list. When one of the process that is executing sends the signal, then this process, one of the process in this list is removed from waiting and it will be moved to running state. Getting, guys? Now, so these are the code part for the wait operation, and this is the code for the signal operation. So see, very simple. Here this is the wait operation. I told you semaphore is going to store the value, right? This value, right, is the value of that process that is in the waiting. See, list, this list, it is going to store the processes that are waiting, right? When it will be moved to this list, when a process will be moved to the list, when a semaphore value is less than 0, I already told you, when a semaphore value is less than 0, it should block, then it should be moved to the waiting state. See, it is less than 0, then you have to add this process to the list. This list contains only the waiting processes. See, it will block. Now, what signal will do? Signal, see, signal, see, S value here it will be decremented, you know that, right? Wait means decrement, signal means what? Increment. So here signal means, what is the meaning? Signal means one process completed its execution, then I can move one of the process in this list to the waiting state to ready state. See, S value lesser than or equal to 0, S value lesser than or equal to 0, here equal is there, right? So obviously when you increment that, condition will become true. What you will do means you will remove the process from this list and it will be moved from, right, waiting state to ready state. See here, wake up, I am using wake up here. Wake up, you need to wake up the process that is waiting. Here you need to block the process, right, that is waiting for the P1. You know that, right? P2 is waiting for P1, right? That's why I will block that P2 process. Example, here you have to wake up the process. Getting, guys? It's simple. Now see, simple, the block operation suspend the process, obviously that invokes it. I told you, instead of waiting, instead of looping, you can block itself. Then once once it is blocked, it can move to the list. Then when one of the process completes, you can use a wake up operation. Wake up operation resumes the execution of the blocked process. Here in our example, P2 is blocked. P2 will be waked up once the P1 completes its execution. You can see P2 will be blocked. P2 will be waked up once the P1 completes the execution, instead of looping here. Getting, guys? And this block and wake up are system calls of a OS. This block and wake up are system calls. Now see here, one more important thing I told you, right? So this implementation may have the negative semaphore values. I told you that. Next, the list of waiting process, I told you have to maintain the list of waiting processes, and you will have to maintain the identifier for each processes. How to maintain that identifier means you can use a PCB, process control block. Each process contains process control block, right? It is implemented by a link field where the identifiers of each process will be there. And one more important thing, each semaphore contains an integer value and pointer to list of PCB. You know that, I already explained it. Each semaphore contains the pointer to the list of PCB, then only you can identify the which process is in the list or which process not in the list, right? And one more important thing, how you are going to add the process from waiting to ready or ready to waiting. How you are going to do this means you are going to use FIFO queue. FIFO means first in first out. Which is the first process waiting? Here if you are 3 processes waiting, so you are going to take the first process which is having the more duration. First process come in will go out first, right? Now the waiting queue you are using to implement to remove the busy waiting, right? You are using a waiting queue to remove the busy waiting, but this waiting queue is also have some problem. What is that? See, in a simple words, see here, the deadlock will happen. What happens when you use a waiting queue to overcome the busy waiting? The deadlock can be happened. What is a deadlock? Right? Deadlock means when 2 or more processes are waiting indefinitely for an event that can be caused only by one of the waiting processes. Right? Here I will explain the deadlock in a simple way. See here, very simple. See, to explain this, I'll consider a system consisting of 2 processes, PQ and PI, each accessing 2 semaphores, S and Q, and both the value of both S and Q is what? 1. Getting, guys? 2 processes I am considering, PQ, PI, and each process using 2 semaphores, S and Q, and the value of the 2 semaphores is what? 1. And this is the code. Now I will explain this code. You will understand how these processes will enter into a deadlock state. See here. Suppose P0 execute wait S, then P1 execute wait Q. See, I will explain this. See, suppose P0 execute wait S, P0 executing wait S. See the highlighter. P0 executing wait S. This is the first statement. Wait S is the first statement that is executed by P0. Remember. Now P1 executes wait Q. Now P1 executes wait Q. This is the second statement that is executed. Getting, guys? First P0 executed wait S. Second P1 executed wait Q. Now when P0 executes wait Q, see, P0 is executing the wait Q. This is the third statement that is executed. See, you can see wait queue is already executed by what? P1. But now P0 is trying to execute wait queue once again. That is not possible because it must wait. See, P0 must wait until P1 executes the signal Q. See, why means P0 can't use wait Q because P1 is already used the semaphore wait Q. When P1 executed the wait queue earlier than P0 can't use it wait queue because, right, it's already there. That's why that's why P0 should wait until P1 executes signal Q. Signal Q means what? P1 can release this Q. Signal means, you know that it is after the completion it will be executed, right? That's why. So here P0 should wait for Q until P1 executes the signal Q. once it is executed, P0 can use this queue. But see here, what is the fourth statement here? Wait s. P1 is executing the wait test, but see, P0 is already executed the wait test statement. First only it is executed. Now see, P1 should wait until P0 releases the signal S. Getting, guys? So P1 should wait until P0 executes the signal S. Then only P1 can use the S that is released by P0. But see here what happened here. P0 is also waiting for P1 to execute signal Q. In the same way, P1 is also waiting P0 to execute signal S. So both the processors are waiting. P0 is also waiting for some event to occur. P1 is also waiting for some event to occur. But it is not possible. Yeah, P0 can't be executed. P1 also can't be executed. Both are waiting for one of the other process to complete first. P1 is also wanted P0 to complete first. P0 is also wanted P1 to execute first. But it is not possible. To P0 to execute correctly, P1 should be execute first. P1 to execute correctly, P0 to execute first. So it is not possible. So this is nothing but a deadlock. So this is nothing but a deadlock. Getting, guys? So when you use a waiting queue, this is the problem. See, we are using a waiting queue, right? It is also waiting. P0 is also waiting. P1 is also waiting for each one to release this semaphores. Getting, guys? So this is a deadlock. This is the problem if you use waiting queue to eliminate the busy waiting, right? And one more problem is indefinite blocking. Indefinite blocking is very simple. Don't get confused here. See, indefinite blocking means suppose see here, when 5 processes are there, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, right? See, suppose I am removing the process from the list associated. That means I am removing that process. Here P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 all are waiting only. All are waiting. They are in the waiting state. All are waiting to move from waiting state to ready state. How many processes? 5 processes. So indefinite blocking means here. What is the type of implementation I am using here? LIFO, last in first out. Last in first out. Last in means what? Suppose here P5 is the last process. So P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. This is the order. Which is the last process here? P5. But which is the first process I am removing? P5 only. P5 is the last process, but I am removing the P5 first from waiting to ready queue. So this can't be happened because P1 is the process that is waiting. The duration of the P1 is more than the P5. Getting, guys? So that's why P1 should wait. P1 should get the chance to enter into the ready queue. But here what is the scheme I am using? LIFO, last in first out. P5 will get the chance. Next P4 will get the chance. Next P3 will get the chance. Next P2 will get the chance. See, P1 is starving. P1 is starving. Actually P1 is waiting, right? P1 is waiting so long. Actually P1 should get the chance first, but here it's not a case. P1 is not getting the chance first. Other processes are getting the chance first. P1 is starving. P1 is keep on waiting. P1 is keep on waiting. So this is the another problem, indefinite blocking, if you use this waiting queue for the busy waiting, to eliminate the busy waiting. If you use waiting queue, this is the problem. That's it, guys, right? So understood? If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.